Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexiots here. Tuesday morning, the Raptors are playing the last game of this four-game homestand against the Miami Heat tonight. Kyle Lowry is supposed to be returning tonight to play the Raptors, but he's actually day-to-day and questionable, may not be playing tonight. We've got an interesting ref crew, all kinds of interesting stuff on the preview today for the game tonight. I'm feeling a little bit better, feeling like I might be able to go to the game today, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Toronto, Miami tonight. We've been winning this series already. We are up 2-1 so far in this series in the first three games. But we'd like to go ahead and not even the split 2-2 tonight. Let's go ahead and win it out and get a 3-1 series victory over the Miami Heat for this season. That would be fantastic. I'd love that. Just in case. I mean, it's not likely, but there is a possibility that Miami will drop a little bit and we get in a tiebreaker situation with them. Just to make sure, we might as well go ahead and beat them for the season series. That's how I feel about it. All right, let me tell you guys about the injuries right off the bat right now. Yes, we have a bit of an injury list right now for the Raptors. Will Barton is doubtful for today's game. Of course, he twisted his ankle in the last game. We saw it. And, Nick Nurse in practice yesterday was saying that he doesn't think Will's going to be playing today. So that was he did not practice yesterday, just so y'all know. He wasn't in practice. Gary Trent, questionable also today with his elbow still. He practiced a little bit yesterday, but not full practice. Just a little bit of shooting around and a little bit of light stuff around the place, but nothing like full contact. And he doesn't seem like he'll be ready today either. So we should expect both Will and Gary to be out. And as Nick put it, that's two guys in the same position. So you may see more Jeff Doughton again tonight. Delano Banton is out because of his thumb. He's already ruled out for today's game also. Ron Harper Jr. is day-to-day. We did get to see him in garbage time for a little while in the last game against Washington. That was nice to see. Maybe he'll be ready tonight, maybe not. We'll have to see. Joe Weezy is out because of his hamstring, and Otto Porter Jr. is out, of course, also. So those are your injuries for the Raptors. Thank goodness nobody else like Scottie or Precious. All right, on the Miami side, Nikola Jovic is out. He did not travel with the team to come to Canada, so it is his back. That is the rookie Nikola Jovic. And then Kyle Lowry is the only other injury listed on their list day-to-day. I'm not even sure what's wrong with Kyle. Aaron Rose is saying on his Twitter, the Heat are on 2 days rest and are basically fully healthy. Kyle Lowry is questionable, and yet the Raptors are minus 3-point favorites, 3-point favorites. Gary Trent Jr. remains questionable. There you go. So we're the favorites, even though they're overwhelmingly healthy, and they've had 2 days rest. We're still the guys that are favored, even if we have some injuries too. So that's pretty fantastic. I like that idea of all that. Of course, in the standings, this game has heavy implications since we're tied with Atlanta right now. And Atlanta will be playing also tonight, I believe. They are playing against Cleveland, hosting them in Atlanta. So hopefully the Cavs can take care of business and beat the Atlanta Hawks. And we can beat the Miami Heat tonight. And that would mean that the Toronto Raptors would be in sole possession of the 8th seed in the play-in and facing the very same team we're playing tonight in the first in the play-in round, Miami Heat in Miami. So that's kind of part of why we want to do this. Now, I said yesterday I could tell you the bright side of Miami beating us tonight, and it's basically this. Is that they would get higher up and out of the play-in, and Brooklyn would fall back in, and maybe we'd play them in the play-in instead of Miami. In some ways, I like that better. But obviously, we want to just be winners, win out, and just go ahead and beat the Heat tonight and not lose to them. But if there is a loss to them tonight, I do have a bright side to talk about tomorrow. But hopefully, that's not the case. We just want the bright side to be that we beat the Heat, and we're above the Atlanta Hawks by the end of the night because the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Hawks also. So there's your standings watch. And OG Anunoby, I have to say, once again, OG Anunoby appearing on Instagram. It's like last year, OG posted something on Instagram, and it was like everybody went, whoa, OG's posting on Instagram. This is weird because he had not posted in 2 years until he had posted that post. Well, OG posted again last night. Just so y'all know, I mean, this is important news. Normally when a Raptor posts on Instagram, this isn't that, okay, yeah, they broke posts on Instagram, but it's OG. And it's a big deal when OG posts on Instagram. Trust me. What he has posted is very interesting. He's got 2 clips from the last Raptors game on his Instagram stories, and they're basically his reverse jam, the double pump reverse jam against the Washington Wizards, and then the Scottie Barnes 360 and transition dunk. So that's what he wanted to put on blast on his Instagram, the 2 dunks, the one by him and the one by Scottie. Scottie said that he wanted to make it a 360 windmill jam, but he wanted to keep it simple. But in some ways, he wanted to do a Vince Carter when he went up with that 360 against Washington the other day. He was kind of thinking about bringing it around like this while he is twirling around at the same time. Yeah, that's advanced ducking. Alvin, it's funny, I was watching Raptors tonight after the game, and Alvin and Sherman gave those dunks C pluses or something, C minuses. Is they like these aren't that hard of dunks when they do it, like they can do it like that. And Alvin, of course, talked about practicing and playing with Vince Carter and seeing dunks like that all the time. It's like people think that those dunks are hard for those kind of guys, but really when you see what Vince could do like easily, you can understand how OG and Scottie can do easily dunks like that also that seem impressive to the average person, but in some ways it's not really using all their ability. But yeah, really cool Raptors tonight. The other night, a little bit of surliness between Alvin and Sherman and Randy and stuff, and people were upset. Randy saying to Alvin, "My sister says you're being too mean to me," and Alvin says, "Good." Y'all, it's a shtick. I know it's uncomfortable. I know the Canadian sentiments, it's kind of like, this is cringe. This is very difficult to watch because these people don't like each other and nobody wants to see that. But that is not totally the case. These guys actually do get along really well. If you saw Alvin and Randy after Raptors tonight, like Tom Duke and I did the other day, you would see that they're actually pretty cool with each other. It's just all part of the show, y'all. When he's busting Randy's balls, it's because that's part of the show, just so y'all know. And Sherman and Alvin, they have a little bit of friction too, you can tell. But that's all good-natured fun too, honestly. Alvin, in some ways, is carrying his weight as the pro, the guy who was the big-time Raptor and stuff like that, and rightfully so. But in some ways, I get it. Sometimes he seems like a bully. All right, let's see what's in the comments already today. Sheer Khan's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Let's get this one. Every win had more weight now. Team is looking great, just in time for the final run. Go Raptors. Go Sheer Khan. Saw that you got your comment read again on Sunday night. Good stuff, buddy. Always good to see you here with us this morning. I agree. This is a big one. In fact, this is kind of like a game I went to last year when we were going to play the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it was an important game to decide whether we'd be in the play-in or in a playoff spot. And what happened was I went down there with a very concerted effort to cheer them very loudly. And I sat in the 100 section so I could be very loud with them. And I helped cheer them on to victory in a very, very good, important game that was late in the season. Well, tonight's the game that's kind of like that to me. This is a game that has a lot of implications. This could be the team we play in the play-in, one game and one and done. And we want to prove something today. Like, it'd be really, really good if we could beat them 3 out of 4 times this season, just in case we have to turn around and play them in less than a month in a one and done situation. Yeah, I want to beat them tonight. Evelyn saying, yes, let's go Raptors. Get this W tonight. You go, Granny Evelyn. Yes, I hope so too, Evelyn, that we can beat the Miami Heat tonight. I'm not feeling totally well, but I think I'm going to try and get down there. I'm going to go in, sneak in, watch the game with Adriana, and then get the hell out because I don't want to be around people too much. But I feel like I need to be down there for tonight's game. If I feel okay, I'm going to go. Trevor's saying, good morning. Let's go Raptors. I stayed up late last night to watch Chicago and the Clippers, and Chicago get that ass kicked last night. And we got a beating from Miami all right. I don't like how you wrote that, Trevor, exactly. I think we got a beat down on Miami tonight. Let's go Raptors. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. I didn't even check because I did not stay up late like you did last night. So what happened in the game with Chicago and the Clippers last night? Who won? Did Kawhi take care of business? It looks like they did. It was Nicholas Batum got a season-high 24 points on 8 3-pointers, and Eric Gordon had 22 points for the Clippers beating the Bulls last night in an important matchup. Because listen, if the Bulls had won that game, they would have been tied with us in the standings and with Atlanta, but now they're not. They're below us by a game. This is good. We need breathing room from below us, and we need to catch up from above us. And this is the way it needed to be. I'll bet that was a fun game. Very interesting. There wasn't Kawhi, and it was Batum and Eric Gordon stepping up for the Clippers last night. Very cool. Very cool. Yes, we got to beat Miami tonight, Trevor. I'll be hopefully coming down that building and bringing the energy. Bradley's here. Good to see Canadian Cowboy. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. You sound and look better, Lex. Good to see. Should be a good game tonight. Let's go, Raptors. Everyone have a great day and night. Let's go, Raps and Raptor Freaks. You go, Bradley. Have a great day. Hopefully, good news with your lady and things that are happening with you and your family. Hopefully, everything's all right and going safely and stuff. And if you're at work today or you're not, I don't know if you're still on a watch for maybe a baby coming. Bradley, good luck and good health and fortune to you and your family in all kinds of ways. Yes, let's go Raptors. Sheer Constant, I don't know. That double pump dunk OG did was pretty nice. Up there with old Vince dunks, OG was like, look at me, look at me. Well, in some ways, Sheer Con, we got to understand this is easy to them. These guys can throw these dunks down like they're nothing like that. That's an easy dunk. In fact, I often wonder, these premium athletes in the NBA like OG and Precious and Scottie, if they did the dunk competition and they really got creative about pushing the limits of their athleticism and to the tilt, to like the very most like crazy athleticism they could show in the dunk contest, what would they come up with? Like, what could Scott do? He has a 40-inch vert, as he said the other day. And, OG with certain things. And, you see Chris jump from the free throw line and dunk it pretty much. I'm wondering, like, if these guys really, like, it doesn't matter. And in a lot of ways, you don't waste your time being a good dunk artist. If you're going to be Mac McClung and you don't really have a high ceiling within the NBA, you go ahead and be a specialist and be a dunk competition kind of guy. But for these really good premium, great all-around athletes like Scottie Barnes and OG Anunoby, they're not putting their time into honing their craft as dunkers. In some ways, Vince did do that. Vince, in some ways, very much was honing his craft as a dunker while he was playing at the same time, whether it was in games or even in practice or in different places. Some of the dunks he did in Golden State when he won the dunk competition, he had never done before in his life. And that's what I'm wondering about. Like these guys, if they really push their limits of how athletic, how far they can jump, how high, how much they can do in the air, what kind of new dunks could we possibly see if they really pushed and tested how far they could go? Because these are easy dunks. Seriously, this is just like a layup for them. As Alvin and Sherman said, the dunks that they did in the last game are just like layups. That would be like just running up and throwing the ball into the basket like a layup for me. Those dunks for them. So, yeah, it's interesting. I would want to see them test their athletic ability, Sheer Khan. That would be fun. Space Cadet saying, haters going after Fred for calling himself a leader in the post game. People are crazy these days. I know, it's ridiculous. It's like, listen, I don't care what you guys think. If you guys think that he's not the leader of the Raptors, you're idiots. You don't have to think that. They think it internally. All the players on the team think it. And it's just some idiots. Like, I don't understand why people hate Fred so much. You guys can't be Fred. I'm sorry, people that hate Fred. Y'all just can't be him. You want to be him so bad. I really think it's a jealousy thing in some ways. It's a jealousy thing. It's I don't know what it is. At this point, anybody who's coming after Fred is just not a real Raptors fan. I'm sorry, you're just not. He is a real Raptors hero. He's a legend in our franchise history, and he always will be. In fact, he's on the short list for GOAT. And anybody who hates Fred, it's kind of like hating Kyle Lowry. You guys probably hated Kyle Lowry like 7 years ago too, didn't you? Yeah, you probably hated Kyle Lowry right before we won that championship. You're probably talking all this trash just like you do about Fred right now. And you're saying, we need to get rid of Kyle. Kyle's no good. We don't want Kyle anymore. Yeah, it's the same fucking people, I'll bet, Space Cadet. These crazy-ass people that think that Fred isn't our leader. You idiots. They're idiots. I was reading some of that garbage last night. And I was just like, this is so dumb. Why do people think this way? What's wrong with you? He's a leader. Other people on the team have said he's leader. They all think he's the captain. It's not like anybody on the team's like, he's not the captain. It's just some dumbass fans that think that. You idiots. You idiots. Mike's here. Logical Raptors fanatics. Salute the real ones. Project Truth always. Yes, the Bulls lost. Thank you, Mike. Yes, that's so good to see in some ways. In some ways, it's very, very good. It's fishy what's going on with the Lakers right now. They really are trying to help them get into a higher spot in the playoffs because they don't want them out. Obviously, they want them at least in the play-in to try and get beat by the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first play-in, and they get pushed out. That'd be funny. That probably is what'll happen. But we've seen a couple of different things happen in recent weeks where it's like they threw Vucevic out against them the other night for like cussing in Serbian. Just real quick, they're like, get out of here, Vucevic. And really quick double technical fouls and get out. We're seeing referees act like this real quick with a hair trigger where they're just like, you're out. You're out. You're out of here. Like really fast. Double tech, you're ejected. Like, what happened to Scottie. And we're seeing it more often in the league all of a sudden. Like these referees have a hair trigger and they're throwing people out without no notice. It's really crazy. It's really, really crazy. Well, they throw Vucevic out against the Lakers. They still lose. Bulls still beat them. That's fantastic. And then the other day they were playing the Suns. And guess who they assigned to that game with Chris Paul against the Lakers? Yeah, Scott Foster. It's like they're trying to help the Lakers right now. You can tell they're trying to help them. Well, let's talk about double technicals and quick ejections and stealing a game from us in Denver. Well, guess who's our crew chief tonight? Motherfucker is. Yeah, he's coming to Toronto tonight. So let's give him a little bit of how we feel about him, guys. Scott Foster is our crew chief tonight. That's right. That's right. I'm personally going to go down there and tell him exactly how I feel about him stealing a game from us this season in Denver by double technical and ejecting Scottie Barnes a couple weeks ago. That's right. Scott Foster is our crew chief tonight. I fucking hate that man so much. And man, he's going to come up here into Canada and show his face at Scotiabank Arena tonight. We need to welcome him, y'all. We really do. We need to let him know. In some ways, I want to really give him the Goran treatment tonight. Every time he touches the ball, I'm going to be like booing. I'm a boo. Every time he touches the ball, we should be booing him. He's from Maryland. In fact, I don't even care. I don't even want to talk about any of the things he likes. I'm not going to do the regular ref report for him. I'm going to tell you that he's an old piece of garbage that gambles and calls Tim Donaghy on the phone and got away with it for now because he's got some sort of power play over the NBA where he will crush the whole entire league if they come after him like they did Tim Donaghy. So he's safe in there because he's a crooked, corrupt ref. And he has made it so they can't get rid of him because if they try and come get him, he will take the whole ship down with him. So there's your ref report on him, that little asshole. Yeah, if you really want to give him something, Tom, give him crabs from Stella down by the dock. The hooker that sees everybody who's got crabs. She can give him some red crabs instead of blue crabs. And he can get the old corn in the cob treatment, the other way, if you know what I mean. Also, yeah, that's what you get tonight, Scott Foster, you piece of shit. Yeah, and his record with us is, yeah, it's really bad. It's like we win 44% of the time when Scott Foster's around. Of course, we know we lost the last game he ref because he basically stole the game from us. He basically took that fucking game from us. And then the Miami Heat win 56% of the time. So it's 44-56 for the Heat with fucking piece of shit bastard crew chief Scott Foster, piece of shit motherfucker who's going to be reffing our game tonight here in Toronto. Our second ref is Brian Forte. He's from Fairfax, Virginia. He now resides in Smyrna, Georgia. His favorite TV show is Breaking Bad. He likes The Godfather 2 for a movie. His favorite book is The Count of Monte Cristo. He likes some sushi. His favorite app is Netflix, and he'd most like to visit Spain. He is the son of Joe Forte. Brian Forte has a degree in computer business from Furman University. His most memorable NBA assignment is his first playoff game. It was the Nets versus the Raptors in the first round in 2014. So his most memorable NBA assignment was our playoff game against the Nets when we got beat by them. It sucks. I hated that game. That series sucked. I was trying not to go to work. I stayed and tried to watch the end of the game, and they lost anyway. And then I had to go to work. And I remember that day really sucked because that game happened earlier in the day. And then I had to work a crazy-ass, busy-ass kitchen that night after we had lost already. Brian Forte is we win 58% of the time. And the Miami Heat win 55% of the time. So pretty close, 58 to 55 for us. And we did lose the last game that Brian Forte refereed for us. Eric Dalen is our third ref. He's in his 16th season out of Minnesota. He now lives in Cincinnati. His favorite show is NCIS. He likes the movie We Were Soldiers. Favorite musician, Zach Brown. He likes some chili. His favorite app is Netflix also. He'd most like to cruise around the world and take a ride in a fighter jet. Dalen, his most memorable game for him was his first game as a full-time staff official on November 1st, 2008. It was the Lakers versus the Nuggets. He is a 2-year football letter winner at the University of Minnesota, where he played tight end, and he's married and he has 4 children. Okay, so he was a tight end in university at University of Minnesota. Very interesting. Cool. Now, Eric Dalen is our favorite ref tonight, guys. We win 63% of the time when he's around. We did win the last game that he refed, but you know what? They win 64%. So in a way, he actually favors the Heat 64 to 63%. So yeah, there's a ref crew. In some ways, Brian Forte is our best ref, but Eric Dalen's not bad. And then, of course, like I said, Scott Foster. Yeah, Scott Foster tonight, y'all. Motherfucker's showing his face on this side of the border. We need to let him know. Seriously. Every single time he's around that ball, ref, you suck, or boo, boo. We need to let him know we have not forgotten that he stole that game against Denver straight up. It was him by himself. And the crowd needs to remind him, let him know tonight. This is bullshit. We need to let him know. We got him in our home territory. We need to come down on him. All right, let's see. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Callie's here. Good to see Callie Mayer. I'm so excited for the game. Hope we start the game with focus and energy. These are good keys to the victory. You know, this is a savvy Miami Heat team. This is Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, that kind of team. And in some ways, we need to match them, their savviness with savviness. In some ways, you know, they got Kevin Love now at their power forward now. So this is a little bit different of a Miami team. They're a little bit old, though. In some ways, we need to run on them and get them a little tired out. Maybe see if they won't work as hard because we'll work harder. Maybe they like to work smarter and not harder because they're older and they can do that. And maybe we can out hustle them. Maybe we can get them loose balls faster, rebounds. Do all the things, the little things, the dirty things, the tough stuff that doesn't get put on the stat sheet. Do that all better than Miami. Out Raptor them. And let's have some success. I think it's very interesting that we are favored in this game tonight. I think part of it is that we've played so well at home in recent months that is a big factor. I think also it is that Miami has struggled recently. Although on the download, they've actually been winning more than they've been losing recently. But they've had some really ugly losses where ugly things have happened, like Jimmy Butler leaving the court early while the game was still going on. He's literally in the game still. He's still checked in. He's not on the bench. He just walks off the court with 15 seconds to go still, and they get a technical because he left the court too early and they didn't have enough players on the play. He didn't care. That's what it was. So in some ways, we know that Miami Heat are messed up, but we don't want to catch them feeling good or give them good feelings. We need to make things difficult for them and continue to have them unravel and become more and more upset with each other. We want to see Udonis Haslem on the bench going like this, not wanting to look and see what the Heat are doing. We want to see Jimmy Butler get mad and leave early before the game's over. We want to see Kyle Lowry just sitting on the bench in street clothes and not playing. I know some people are like, oh, I want to see Kyle play tonight. I don't. In some ways, maybe we do. Because he is that kind of guy that can maybe play and make the team worse. Sometimes we know about this. He could get out there and he could shoot like 0 for 12 and have like 4 turnovers. You know, I'd be okay with that, Kyle Lowry, if you want to come out there and put that kind of performance on tonight. But yeah, I'm excited too. Focus and energy from the start. Let's get the lead early and hold on to it and have them play from underneath us. That's always better. And like I said, with Scott Foster's presence around the game, we're going to need to have a good cushion, a good maple syrup lead of double digits, just in case he wants to try any funny stuff late. with his whistle and manipulating the game right at the very end. So that's very important. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Free Crew. Game day. I still have to listen to yesterday's session. Cool. Yeah, Cool Cat. I was really sick yesterday. You're going to see me coughing and sneezing and really looking bad yesterday. That was probably the worst sick day. Yesterday was tough. Shirkan saying, yeah, Lex, people are just jealous. I've had some experience, albeit at a lower level. No matter how nice a person is, haters going to hate. They see somebody doing something they wish they had the courage to do, and they get upset, Shirkan. It could be in your own life personally that you endeavor to do things you dare to go do, and these people just don't have the guts to go do it. Instead of them admiring you for doing it and saying, wow, really good job, man, they want to bring you down because they feel like you've done something that they can't do. And in some ways they want to get, even with you again. And that's part of it right there. I mean, it's irrational. I don't know what it is. I don't know. How did he hurt y'all? Why did he hurt you? What did he do? If you're Raptor fans, you shouldn't be hurt by him. You should be like, he's awesome. He's on our team. He does good things. And we were proud to have him on the team. But a lot of these people are not. And it makes me wonder, who the fuck are these people? And why are you idiots? You're really dumb. Seriously, Fred haters at this point are just stupid people. Like, I'm sorry. If you're a Fred hater, you're a dumbass, is basically what I'm going to say at this point. Because you don't get basketball. And you don't get his journey and what he did to get to where he is. Nako's here. Good to see Gerald. Scottie would be the flashiest player on the court if he could. Fred's the leader, though. I think that's changing in 2 or 3 years. Fuck that shit, Gerald. That's the bullshit they're trying to say. And that's not a smart statement, honestly. That really isn't. Scottie's the flashiest? I don't give a shit about flashy. I give a shit about winning. Flashiness doesn't fucking matter. In fact, Scottie pulling a 360 is kind of bullshit because it's dangerous. Young people think that shit's cool and everything, but that's not what wins basketball. That's the shit that makes you lose games in bad situations. That's the thing. I come from the old school, and the young people are full of shit with their highlights and their dunks, and they give a shit about the wrong things. I give a shit about two-handed rebounds coming down and securing and ending the defensive possession. I give a shit about making a layup over like a funny little trick shot or a trick pass. I don't give a shit about flashy. Fuck that shit. If Scottie wants to be flashy, I don't want him to be the captain. I don't, because that's not what wins games. And I disagree with this, Nako. And I don't even know why you're bringing this up. Seriously. That won't change like that. And it may not be on that time frame. Scottie's going to be a leader on this team, but he's not going to be a leader in the way people think. People think he's going to be a leader like Siakam. He's not going to be a leader like Siakam. People think he's going to be a leader like Fred. He's not going to be a leader like Fred. He's not those kind of leaders. And people need to understand he has his own specific way of leading. And in some ways, it's very good. And he will become more and more a leader over time, but it's not going to be for a while. It may not be for like 4 years, honestly, or longer. And it's not going to be like that. I hate that you described him as the flashiest player. That's a fucking bullshit, stupid descriptor for wanting him to be a leader. That's not a good descriptor. Seriously. I don't give a shit about that. I want fundamentals. I don't give a shit about flash. That's sizzle. I want steak, baby. Cam Crazy's here. Yes. I'm praying for a game to win today. I want the Raptors to beat the Heat tonight. Infamous is saying, Fred is not perfect, but the hate is ridiculous. The captain of the hate ship is he who shall not be named. I know. That's part of the reason why it's like, I hate this guy. I wish he'd go away, because he gets in people's ears and they start echoing his bullshit. That's why I think he's being paid by Celtics Nation or Sixers Nation to try and make our fan nation turn on Fred. I really do think this is some dirty ass political strategy that people infiltrate groups and act like they're part of it, but they really are just causing confusion and bullshit. So all y'all people that are echoing the Fred shit that the idiot does on that YouTube channel, you're just a pawn and a part of his fucking bullshit confusion. And you're not helpful to Raptors Nation, just so you know. Smooth saying, hey, good morning. Let's hope the Raps win tonight. Going to be a street fight. I actually wanted the Bulls last night. I hate the Clippers. In some ways, I kind of wanted that to happen too, but in some ways I didn't. We don't need them right there with us in the mix, because who knows? They could overcome both the Atlanta Hawks and us all of a sudden if they have the same record with us. And they're in the top part of the play-in. And then we have two teams we have to overcome to get into the top part of the play-in. Yeah, in some ways, this is the best thing that the Bulls lost, for sure. Trevor's saying you got to let the haters do their job, and their job is to hate. I don't want to let them do nothing. In fact, I want to cut them out. They ain't a part of my world, and they ain't a part of this channel. And if they did come in here, I'd let them know. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam. Just tuning in and hearing you speak about a crooked ref. I guess it's Foster. Laugh out loud. Let's get a good game later and separate from Miami so he doesn't give them opportunities. Exactly, Fiercely. Yes. Scott Foster is our crew chief tonight. And I'm not happy about it, but also I'm like the audacity. This man has the audacity to come this side of this border when he knows this whole country of Canada hates his ass for being crooked and being a criminal ref. Yeah, I'm gonna start yelling cheater, cheater, and say, call Donaghy, call Donaghy. It's halftime. You better call Donaghy. Yell shit like that at him tonight. Seriously, people that are near the court, yell at Tim Donaghy at him. Yell the name Donaghy at Scott Foster over and over again tonight. Seriously, if you have a lower bowl seat for the game tonight, Raptors fans, please get on Scott Foster's case tonight. Give him hell. Boo him. Call him a cheat. Call him a liar. Call him a criminal. Do this shit to him from the crowd. Do everything that the players are getting fined for, that they're getting fined for right now. Do all of that shit to him tonight. Do this. Do call him, say, call Donaghy. Call Donaghy. I'm telling you, they can't fine us all. They can't throw us all out. They're not going to throw y'all out if you do that kind of shit. Unless Scott Foster gets really upset like he did with Scottie. He said, this guy right here, he did this to me. Throw him out. Why are you so upset, Scott? Are you guilty? Is that why you get so upset when people do this to you? That you're guilty because you're fucking criminal and you're gambling on the games just like Tim Donaghy did, and you're still doing it because you got away with it, you motherfucker? Is that what's going on? Oh my gosh. Cool Cat saying, in the Spaces chat where Fred was discussed, there was no hatred. They felt that he's a shoot first point guard compared to Lowry and would prefer pass first point guard and not putting his teammates in the best position. This is something they talked about on that Raptors tonight. They were talking about Steve Nash, and Alvin Williams was talking about playing against Steve Nash, and he talked about the differences between Steve Nash and Fred VanVleet. And he was saying that Steve very much was a pass first, shoot second kind of point guard, but he could shoot also. And then Alvin was saying, well, Freddie's a shoot first kind of point guard in some ways. And I get that. Listen, I get that. But in some ways, y'all aren't giving him total credit. If Fred really wasn't supposed to shoot anymore and he was told by Nick Nurse not to try and find his shot at all, he would. He could very much be a pass-only kind of point guard. He's trained to do it that way. He can do it that way. But in some ways, you really lose a lot of his offensive power and what he can do to help us with scoring if you put him in that mindset. But don't get it twisted. Fred has a setting that he can go into in his brain where it's pass only and he's not shooting at all. And he's done that a couple times this season. And it's not the best setting for him. Trust me, we need his offensive firepower to help us keep our scoring up. And the balance is there. And in some ways, okay, sure, maybe he's 60% shoot, 40% pass. But in some ways, I don't like this whole idea of this. Listen, he's not Allen Iverson. He's not Stephon Marbury. These guys were 90% shoot and maybe 10% pass. That's not what Fred is. Fred is 60% shoot, 40% pass. And I think that people give him a wrong misnomer when they say he's a shoot first point guard, because in some ways he's not in the whole realm of the whole entire scheme of the entire NBA today. That if you go around and look at every single point guard in this league, you might see that Fred is one of the most unselfish and passing point guards out of all the starting point guards in the league. That you're going to find that a lot of these guys are ball hogs and shooting way more than they pass on these teams. And it's just part of the way the NBA is now. That it's point guards became shoot first point guards at some point around Iverson and Marbury in the mid 2000s. And that in some ways, it's why does everybody just expect guys to come in and be fundamental point guards from John Stockton and Steve Nash from before? That's not the kind of point guards that we make anymore in the NBA. The young people that come up aren't trained that same way. So in some ways, if you get a point guard that has even a good percentage of passing in their whole scheme of things, like I just said, I look at Fred as being 60-40. That's way better than Iverson, who was 90-10. And then, there may be guys in this league right now, like De'Aaron Fox. What is he? What's his percentage right now? It's probably 70-30 he shoots. So I'm just saying, let's keep it all in perspective. and understand in some ways Fred is actually a passing kind of point guard in today's league because there's just not a lot of these kind of guys around the league in some ways. There are a few that are very much very unselfish pass first kind of people. But I mean, I get it. I get it on this subject like this. But this, you got to understand what he's doing is under the direction of Nick. And there may be certain nights where he's saying, yeah, pass it more, Fred. And he does. I don't think he's, the whole thing is he selfish? Is he shooting too much? No. And no. And I answer both those the same way. I want him to shoot. He's one of our best 3-point shooters, and he scores a lot. And I have no problem with that. We need him to score. We need the points. G saying, all right, it jumped a lot, and there are a lot of comments. I like to see that. The stats show he's not a shoot first point guard, though. See, G's echoing what I just said. I didn't read this. He's saying the same thing. He's not Drew or CP3, but 20 other point guards shoot more than him, and only 3 point guards assist more. I think the league has changed. This is exactly what I was trying to say, and G's giving me the details of it. He's saying that, look, most point guards in this league are like this at this point, and then we all need to realize this at this point. I think that part of the problem is, once again, everybody wants to see the ball get to Scottie and OG over and over again, and they're so excited to see these guys get the ball so much. Well, they're getting the ball the natural way that they're supposed to. And there's nothing wrong with this. Everybody just thinks, oh, well, Scottie could have scored more or OG could have gotten 30. Like, these idiots were talking about, oh my gosh, OG would have gotten 30 in this last game if they hadn't stopped going to him, or all this kind of bullshit. Naturally in the first quarter of the last game, OG was finding the ball and they were finding him, and he was in a groove and he got that. But maybe could it be that Wes Unseld Jr. had an adjustment on how he was guarding OG because he absolutely killed him in the first quarter? And maybe that's why OG didn't score as much for the rest of the game, instead of thinking, oh, Fred was selfish and he came in and he stopped passing it to him. Maybe it could have been that like all of a sudden they made a defensive adjustment and they switched somebody different on OG and they covered him differently so he didn't get as open. I don't know. Why does it always have to come back to Fred and it's his fault? It has nothing to do with him necessarily. I'm just sick of this. It's like they make him a scapegoat and all kinds of really dumb shit. Like, oh, he's holding back Scottie's development. No, he's not. He's helping it. He is encouraging him. He is helping him become a good player in the right way. But y'all want him to just dump into being a 30-point player and this and this and this. That's not going to happen with Scott. Y'all don't understand him. And you think that these guys like Pascal and Fred are holding him back. You're crazy. They're helping him. They're helping him become the most well-rounded, complete player that he can be, and not just some one-dimensional scorer like y'all want him to be. And that's what y'all don't see, is what I'm saying. Thank you, G, for echoing what I'm saying. And this is true. The league has changed. The standard pass-first point guard is dead in a lot of ways. Get used to it and give it up on this whole idea. Fred is very good at distributing. In fact, we have a team that distributes every which way. In fact, that may be why y'all think he shoots so much, because maybe Scottie wants to pass it to him to shoot to get the assist himself. What's wrong with that? Maybe we have so many good passers. Pascal's passing it to him too, that Freddie's getting shots too. I'm just sick of it. I'm so tired of this Fred VanVleet hate that we've dealt with this whole entire year. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. In some ways, Fred's had one of the most amazing years he's ever had in the NBA, with his comments and different things and way he's carried himself through this difficult year. In some ways, he's just a badass in what he's done this season amidst all the criticism and all the bullshit from hit job artists like he shall not be named. Let's see. Smooth saying, my disdain for the Clippers goes way beyond Kawhi Leonard and Norman Powell. Too long of a story there, but I would gladly want the Lakers in the playoffs than them. Even better if they both missed. Hey, I'm with that. I don't want either of the Laker teams LA teams in there, because in some ways that's what the NBA wants. They definitely want an LA team to do well. And in some ways I don't want the NBA machine to be happy. I love it when a small market wins. I love it when these big teams go out like the Celtics and the Lakers. I love all that kind of stuff. So I'm with you, Smooth. I'm with you. And in some ways, I don't want the Clippers to do well this season, even though in some ways I do want Kawhi to get another championship. But we'll have to see. Cowboys saying, an old piece of garbage. Laugh out loud. Preach on, Lex. And I think Freddie's going to get 30 plus. Scottie, hang on. Bradley's saying, I think Freddie going to get 30 plus, Scottie and OG 20 plus, and we win by 22 points tonight. No playing around. We're going to get a playoff performance tonight. Let's go. Well, I don't want to play around tonight for sure. And I mean, if these guys get these points, that's good. We want them to get a lot of points in each of them. One person was saying this. All right. They made a post about how we have 5 players that have 1,000 points this season and how balanced and even it is. And some idiot in the comments is like, well, this sounds like y'all need to make a decision about who gets the water. I'm like, motherfucker, why is everybody got to be so selfish and think, we have to have one superstar? Why can't we have this balance? In some ways, it's a different look in this league. And in some ways, it's very powerful. And I'm just sick of people like, why are everybody critical of some things that are not broken? Like, I don't get it. Like, some people just don't have a very good idea about what is good basketball. They think that, if you have one really good superstar that scores most of your points, that's good basketball. No, it's not. In the history of basketball, balance and having a lot of good players in your starting lineup is much more stronger than having one superstar on your team. Trust me. So in the way that the Raptors are built and their roster is very smart in some ways because it harkens back to team basketball and team play and having equally good players all around. In some ways, these idiots who come in and say, well, they need to choose who they want to go with and get rid of some of the other ones. It's once again that same bullshit that the U.S. media people like Drew Gooden said in the game against the Wizards the other day, that we have too many players and then we have to get rid of a couple of them. Yeah, it's all bullshit and stupid. I'm just sick of the dumb shit. In fact, I hate the debunking of the dumb shit at this point. It's like I may just like ignore it. I may like slam it if it comes in here, but otherwise I'm just sick of it. Whether it's about Fred, whether it's about Scottie, whether it's about Pascal, or Nick, it's so dumb. This season has been so dumb with some of the takes from people. It's just crazy. Monique saying, good morning, everyone, and happy game day. If we play like we played the last 2 games, we're good. Well, it was Detroit and it was Washington, and those teams were pretty weak, and they were pretty like easy opponents in some ways. This is not necessarily going to be that tonight, Monique. This is a very savvy veteran Miami Heat team that is very much trying to win badly. And it should not be taken lightly. In some ways, we're going to get up good for them because it is Kyle's team. And we do understand the gravity and importance of this game in a lot of ways. You know, in some ways, maybe because Scott Foster is going to be involved in the game tonight, the Raptors will have some things to prove and will be angry and will want to make sure that they win. I don't know, Scott. Maybe you could be like a solid and understand how you fucked us over in that Denver game. And maybe you fucking, I don't know, you're crooked. You could do some crooked shit in our favor instead. It's not that we want that or need that. It's just that, maybe a little bit in the karmic world of things that you kind of even things out, that you give us a game back tonight. You fucking piece of shit, crooked ass mafioso betting motherfucker. Yeah, golly, man, I hate this guy. And I can't believe he's going to be in the building tonight. I really can't. Let's see. Mike's saying it's the fact. Those fans, I don't even call them fans anymore. They're not. They're just people that are in our nation. They're just Raptors nation. They have their ego wrapped up in how people feel about the Raptors. They see Fred as undrafted and smaller and feel like we're not good enough for people to respect. They need that. Yeah, this is just stupid. These are fucking idiots. Once again, they just don't understand basketball. They don't understand Fred and what he's done and how he became who he is and how valuable that is. And I don't know how to talk it to them. They don't get it. They just don't fucking get it. And maybe they just need to be casuals. And this is the thing. It's as much as I have a voice and saying things on here, these people are getting their voices and their tweets out, and that people see them. And that's part of the problem with today's world with social media. Jack Armstrong said, every jackass can have an opinion and put it out there and people will give it attention. And that's a really weird situation to be in right now, because once again, perception is reality. And if these motherfuckers are coming out here trying to make reality their perceptions, fuck you with your shit about Fred. Oh my gosh. Names is saying tonight will be the first time we beat Miami in such a convincing fashion that it will be clear for all to see that we won that trade and it was the perfect time to trade Lowry, and we can forget now. I don't think he's going to play. For some reason, I don't know if Lowry exactly likes playing against his old team. that in some ways there's sentimentality. I know that it took him a while before he played against us again after he was traded. Remember, he kept missing games because of personal reasons. He missed a lot of games. In fact, he's only played like 2 games against us since he left. And I'm wondering, I'm wondering if he'll play tonight. He is on the injury list, and it could get updated this afternoon that he's all of a sudden he's just out tonight. We'll have to see. I know some of the fans are coming tonight specifically because they want to see him, and that may be a factor too. Then he may feel like, oh, I got to come see the old Raptor fans that love me and show up on the court because there may be a lot of number 7s in the crowd, and they came specifically to see me. I don't know. We'll have to see. I've wondered about this because I know in some ways it's fun for him to compete against Fred and play against the Raptors, but in some ways also it doesn't really go with his mind because he's been so programmed to be a Raptor for almost a decade that in some ways does not compute circuitry overload, kind of things in his brain in some ways. Because he might, turn around and forget he's on the Heat and he throws it to one of our guys in a Raptor jersey or something. That kind of stuff could happen. I hope you're right, though. I want to beat them convincingly tonight, but I don't know if that'll necessarily be the case. Nick Nurse said it again in practice interview yesterday that every time we play Miami, it's a fight. It's a playoff intensity. It's a very difficult, tough game in the mud. And we've seen those triple overtime game last year, all kinds of crazy epic games with the Miami Heat in recent 2 years. Well, it could be this next chapter is tonight. And we're going to see another drag them out, crazy ass classic battle between the Miami Heat and Toronto Raptors. Let's see. Lion Hunter's here. Good to see Lion Hunter. There are very few true pass first point guards like Steve Nash anymore. The league is evolving. That's exactly right. You don't get to the league if you don't have that scoring part in your game. And in some ways, the league is like, I need to get mine. I need to get paid. So it feeds to the selfishness. I don't think that people understand that. And in some ways, if you really look at the scale of this and how people can be more selfish and not selfish, you may understand that Fred's actually one of the most unselfish point guards in the league. You actually start looking at the parameters and control for certain standards and things, you might actually find that actually Fred is actually one of the most nice and giving point guards in the league at this point. Because it's true, the league has evolved. There's nobody like Steve Nash in this league at this point. You think of one person that's like Steve Nash. Is Chris Paul a passer? Like who are the point guards in this league that are classic point guards? Seriously, tell me. Trae Young's not a classic point guard. He's definitely a shoot first point guard. Who are the pass first point guards in this league? Seriously, tell me. Somebody tell me. Give me a list. Give me a list of 5 guys that pass more than they shoot in the NBA that play point guard at this point. Seriously. G saying the issue is Fred was inefficient. This is why his shot attempts have been so highlighted and people are upset. Efficiency is up now. I think and believe he is still figuring out the right balance. Yeah. And when he oriented himself for the season, he had a certain mindset of how he's going to play this year, and it went out the window. He was supposed to be shooting. He was supposed to be shooting a lot this season. He was supposed to be the 2, and Scottie was going to be the 1, and he was supposed to set up going in the season to be more of our shooting guard and shoot a lot. Well, it didn't work out. Scottie wasn't ready to be the point guard. Scottie fucked up at being point guard earlier in the season, and it didn't work. So Fred had to revert being back to being the point guard. And some of that actually tells you why. That in some ways, Freddie may have seemed more selfish is because this season he was supposed to be more selfish. That was the plan for the season, but it had to get scrapped. And that's part of the problem. And in some ways, G's right. He's still trying to figure out the right balance. And now that Jakob's here, he has more of a good target and he has more different good things going on with him to make it more pass easier. And, that's the thing. He's not going to have good shooting nights every night. And it may be at some point he's got to measure. It's like, all right, I'm not going to shoot it as much because I'm not shooting as well. I'm going to pass it more. And he does that. But there's going to be times late in the game where they need him to step up and hit some late clutch shots. So he has to shoot late and he may not hit those too. And that may be what upsets people. Listen, he may not be one of the better shooting players on our team. There may be other guys that shoot a higher field goal percentage, but he needs to take those shots still. Trust me, because some of those big shots will carry us home and make us win games late. And I agree with this. This efficiency is what people pick apart, and I do too on here. But in some ways, that's something that goes with in and out, like exactly with shots. It's like they go in and they don't go in sometimes. And that's the way Nick Nurse looks at it. Sometimes there's just a percentage that shot won't go in, and they live and die. You know, that's how you got to live in the league. It's like sometimes the shots don't go in on certain nights, and you lose. And that's partly on Fred's shoulders, and that's why people get mad at him, because he takes the responsibility. He's the forefront of it. He's the leader, and people get mad at the leader because it's just like in anything. If you are the captain or the leader, you get more responsibility than the individuals behind you that are on the team also. And I think that's part of it too. Nako saying, not sure if it's been covered, but apparently the Raptors are fucking A, Gerald. You're like 0 for 2 today. No, we're not. That's bullshit. We talked about this yesterday. That's a bullshit report. First of all, Gerald, do I need to spell this out for you? The Raptors are a progressive, like very like social justice warrior organization. You think we're gonna fucking let him into our organization? You think we're even anywhere close to interested in him? No, that's crazy. First of all, Nick Nurse is not in trouble as much as some people think he is. He's not. He's not in trouble. We're not going to fire him this summer to bring in a womanizer, somebody who may target women in our organization that we value and we have a lot of respect for. We want to bring in a coach that may be all sneedy and be like, yeah, we could hook up after work. No, we're not. I don't care if he's Nigerian, just like Masai Ujiri. He's a cancer and a toxic person to have on your team. And we are not going to have him up here. That rumor was made up bullshit. And you're just perpetuating fake news, bro. I don't know where you're hearing this shit. I know you read it, you see it, suss it out. Does it make sense, Gerald? No, it doesn't. So don't like push it further, and especially don't like characterize it as we're interested in him. That nobody ever said that. They're saying that like that's just a bullshit rumor. And the phrasing of it's stupid. Honestly, it's pissing me off. It's like Udoka has nothing to do with us, and he's not coming here. Trust me. That Masai Ujiri loves the women in the Raptors organization more than to fucking do that. Trust me. If he did that, he'd tell them he fucking has disrespect for women. That's the thing. You hire Udoka, it's going to send the wrong message to the people in his organization. And they're not going to do that. Now go really think it out. Seriously, think with your critical mind. Does that make any fucking sense? No, it doesn't. Cowboys saying, "Okay, gotta go. Don't pay attention to the Freddie haters. 100%. Have a great day, Lex. Let's go Raptors and Raptor freaks. Enjoy the game. It's going to be a good one." I hope so. I hope I enjoy the game. In some ways, I hated going to the Kyle Lowry game last year. I got COVID and I had a bad time and I got rained on afterwards and got really sick. Well, I hope this year is nicer. I'm already sick going into it. So, Nameless is saying, I can't stand the burial dance certain content makers are doing on Fred VanVleet right now while he's playing incredible. Weirdos. That's weird, sick shit. I know. I don't understand it either. Like, that's why I love when he proves them wrong and he kicks ass and he continues to excel, because they don't know how to write content after that. They just make up bullshit. It's so out of hand. Some of the Raptors content makers are just really dumb. I don't get them. Like, are you not watching the same games as me? Like, we're winning mostly these days. We're in an upward trend since we got Jakob Poeltl. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get these people will never be fucking happy. Honestly, they never will be. Cool Cat saying a wider fan base exists now with varied opinions. We are sounding like Lakers fan base. Laugh out loud. We're being torn apart. Yeah, in some ways it's like that. But in some ways, I really do feel like it's just like, all right, I feel like there's a lot of immature people that really don't know basketball that are following the Raptors right now, and that they really have like dumb opinions and ideas about how a basketball team should be and what works and how to win. Listen, if y'all watched since the 80s, did you see how all these teams have won over the last 30 years? Have you seen how the roster constructions have been built? Have you seen what principles and things about players win games? Have you seen how team play and different things happen? No. You just saw the Raptors win in 2019, and you think that you get a superstar, you win championships. And that's what a lot of these dumbasses think is just a quick fix. That's not how you do it. There's a lot of things to it. In fact, that championship that Kawhi came in and got with us was built over 9 years, but with Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. And it wasn't as easy as it seemed. It's just one guy comes in, one thing happens. Well, he came in at the very end and finished the project, but the project had the bulk of the work done in the years before. And it takes time to build up to championships sometimes. And I think that people just don't understand the realistic things that go into being an NBA team and how you win and all that kind of things. It's just really dumb people in our fan nation that are out of touch with like what the real things are that add up to winning. They just don't get it. Mike is saying these fans need something that people fawn over. I'm not even calling fans. Don't do fans. Just call them Raptors Nation because they're not fans. If you're a fan, you cheer for them. You're positive. You're passionate for them to win. These people are not passionate for us to win. They're passionate for them to have somebody to criticize. And that's what they are. You know what they are? They're critics. Let's just fucking call them critics, or let's just call them haters. Raptors haters. They can be in our own fan nation, or they can be in our Raptors nation, but they're Raptors haters and they identify as Raptors fans. That's what I'm going to say right now. That's what they are. I don't like you calling them fans though, because they're not fans. Let's see. Mike's saying they need something that people fawn over. It's not good enough being solid. They need casuals to recognize how great they are. It's about their own self-esteem and needing something more. That's part of it. Is they want to be provocative. They want other people to be involved, and they get fed by like the recognition and all this kind of. It's really dumb shit, like social media shit, like on Facebook. You make a post to get attention, and you want people to like it and comment on it and stuff like that. It's the same kind of shit. They make a provocative take, and they hope that people. Sometimes they're trolling on purpose. Sometimes they write shit on purpose that's trollish, just so they can get a little bit more comments and interaction. You know, it's really fucked up how Fox News has made people understand that if you trigger people or you make people upset, all of a sudden you get more engagement. And that's messed up. You know, if you're trying to be like that, if that's your whole modus operandi to fucking try and feel good for yourself day in and day out, you're a sad, pathetic person that you need that kind of interaction to get that. That's really sad. Space Cadet saying, gee, there are games where we need Fred to shoot more. The Lakers and Clippers games are perfect examples where he passed up a lot of shots. It's situationals. Haters don't understand this. I'm exactly with Space Cadet on this. In fact, I was upset with Fred that he didn't shoot more in the LA games. But the other people will be like, oh, he didn't shoot. That's great. That's what I'm saying. We need him. He's an important part of our offense. He's been an important part of our offense for a few years. I don't understand why people don't understand that or allow for that. You know, it's so dumb. Oh my gosh. Infamous is saying, what do you think of the rumor? Okay, I just said this. I like it if we do get rid of Nurse. No, fuck that, Infamous. We're not getting rid of Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse is great. He's a good coach for us to have. See, this is all the confusion, all this kind of bullshit starts. You start a rumor about Udoka coming here. Nako thinks it's a rumor for real. Infamous says, oh, I think it's a good idea because I don't like Nick Nurse. You see how it pulls everything apart in dumb ways. Nick is not in trouble. As much as his haters think he is, he's not. He's not going to get fired. And everybody who thinks we're switching our coach this summer, you're going to be sad about it because it's not happening. He's a good coach, and we're going to be fine, and we need to continue with him. Trust me. Monique's saying last two games we won by 15 plus points or more. You're going tonight, Lex? Standings watch. We're good in my books. Well, if I keep coughing, if I talk myself out, my voice all of a sudden, maybe I won't be going tonight, but I feel pretty good right now. I'm going to try to go. Let's see. Last two games we won by 15 plus points or more. Yeah, I don't expect that tonight. I'd like to get a good lead so that Scott Foster can't mess with us, but in some ways I don't expect that. Miami's too good of a team. They're too savvy, and they're going to be fighting us every bit of the way. Let's see. Standings watch. We're good in my books. I don't know. We got to. All right, if we're looking at the games for tonight, obviously we got Miami ourselves, and that's important. If Cleveland, like I said, if Cleveland can beat Atlanta tonight, that'll put us above Hawks if we can beat the Heat. Beat the Heat and have the Cavs beat the Hawks. Boom. We are in the 8th seed for sure against the Heat, and that would be really good. Other than that, there's no other games that really matter tonight as far as with us. I mean, Boston at Washington, sure, that kind of matters, but not really. But yeah, standings watch pretty good. All right, fun guy saying, I really Really, really hope we get a cheater, cheater, cheater chant by the crowd for Scott Foster. Yes. Yes. I mean, seriously, this dude, we need to let him hear it. Seriously, if people don't remember what he did in that game, we need to remind the people sitting next to us and say, yes, Scott Foster was the guy who stole that game against the Nuggets the other day by ejecting Scottie Barnes in the last second of the game. Totally turned the game, and we totally lost because of the ref, not because of the Nuggets. And we need to remind the crowd next to us if they forget, if they don't remember that. Nameless is saying these POS content makers jumped. Hang on. Why does it jump at the worst time? These POS content makers are doing the equivalency of burying Fred alive. Sickos. Nameless. Yeah, that's what Nameless said. I like that. That's a little green zombie guy. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm sick of it. Just go away. Just stop following them. Just stop like giving them any attention. That's what we got to do. They only get stronger or feel good if people give them attention. So we just got to block, mute, unfollow. Do whatever you can just so you don't see it and engage with it. You may see it and you'll be like, yeah, all right, this is stupid. I'm blocking this person. That's what I do all the time. I block a ton of people on Twitter. I block people on Facebook. Just when I see out of pocket dumbass comments and stuff. There's a group on Facebook called I forget what it's called. It's Raptors something. And it's not run by a Raptors fan because they're posting shit like LeBronto shit when LeBron owns Toronto. And I'm like, see, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people that are running shit in Raptors Nation that aren't actually Raptors fans. And the people go and watch it and they're all into it. And they're like, oh, this is cool. But then on the down low, it's feeding bad shit. Like, I cannot tell you enough. Really suss out what you're reading and where it's coming from and understand that it may be something that's coming from another place. It doesn't even have anything to do with us. Let's see. Smooth saying both Fred and Kyle are great point guards in their own style. Kyle did not have to take over games. The makeup of the team was different. Now Fred has to take those shots. Kyle did though. There were very much times in the earlier in his career with us, not as much near the end of when he played for us, but in the middle of the 2010s, Kyle took over games all the time. Like at this point in his career, the same age as Fred, yeah. In some ways, he was a late bloomer. He didn't start to get better until around 30. But in some ways, around this time, he definitely was like Fred in this way. He was very much shoot first, pass second. And my cousin hated him at that time. They were saying the same damn shit that they say about Fred right now that my cousin was saying about Kyle back then. He said he's too selfish. He doesn't pass it enough for a point guard. He's chucking shots too much. He misses too much. I hate him. I don't want him on this team anymore. This is the same shit my cousin said. And this was before we won the championship. This is before any of the really good stuff that happened with Kyle. Well, in some ways, he ate his words on Kyle Lowry. In some ways, he really did. But, Kyle was worse. And the things that they're criticizing Fred for right now, there was a period in time where Kyle was way worse for this stuff. And I would have gotten on the bandwagon and said, yeah, I wish Kyle would stop fucking shooting so much and pass more. So, it's not like this is new or different. This is the same shit that Fred went through. I mean, that Kyle went through in the mid 2010s, like around 2015, 2016. People were saying the same damn shit about Kyle. They're saying about Fred right now. So in a lot of ways, it's the same. Cool Cat's saying the Spaces also discussed that they think that the front office put players in position of thinking their contract first and think that it is selfish play. They discussed they want him to get the bag. Once again, I don't like concentrating on the money and all the money aspect around the players that's outside of it. Jeffrey Doughton Jr. had a really good interview yesterday. He's interviewed by Ahmet Man. It should be coming out soon. And also, he was in the practice interview. And one of the things he said is like, look, there's a lot of confusion about my two-way contract right now and whether I'm going to be converted and whether this or whether that. But you know what Jeff said? And this is the way a lot of these guys think. And I think that the fans need to understand this. They hate the business side of things. I know Chris does, and personally, that he doesn't like the business side, the money side, the talking about all the numbers and the figures and contracts and shit like that. They're not as involved in this kind of shit as you guys think. Maybe some of the players are. They very much are focused on that, but a lot of players aren't. And they would be just like Jeff Doughton yesterday saying, I'm a basketball player and I show up to play basketball. The money stuff gets figured out. The contract stuff gets figured out. I don't care. I don't care if I get converted from a two-way to be available for the playoffs. You guys care more than I do. I'm a basketball player. I do what I'm asked. And then I just show up and I'm ready and I'm prepared. And I can't control a lot of things. I believe in this office, this front office, and this coach. And I trust them that they're going to do what they need to do with me. And that's all that matters. And that, he can't control this shit. Why would he get all bent out of shape and obsess about it otherwise? The one thing he can fucking control is his play and practice and being prepared. And that's all he thinks about. And he says, I'm a basketball player. I show up to play basketball. I'm not worried about my contract. I'm not worried about the money. And in some ways, I think that it's overstated that the players care about this more than you think. I mean, Scottie's on a fixed contract already. He's not worried about his money right now. Maybe Gary and Fred are, but I don't think they are as much as y'all think. It really is. They turn all that shit off during the season. They really do. And they don't visit it until after the season. Fred will say that over and over again this season. He said, I'm not thinking about my contract extension. I'm not thinking about my contract or money or anything. I'm in the middle of the season. And I don't think about this shit until afterwards. Some people can say they're just making up shit, Cool Cat, in the spaces that the front office set them up to be worried about their contracts over and over again. I don't get that. I don't think that's totally true. I think that that's a convenient thing to just say. And once again, that sounds like bullshit coming from another nation to try and pull us apart. In some ways, I think that we forget that these guys love playing basketball and that the first priority is to play and to have fun. And it's not necessarily the bag. Everybody wants to make it think that they're all money grubbing like millionaires that just want every little cent they can get out of the fucking franchise. But that's bullshit. That's not actually true. And, that I don't know. This is bullshit. In some ways, these spaces sound toxic. They don't fucking sound like totally good. The spaces on Twitter. I've been in some of them before. And once again, they sound like this. These are fucked up things to be talking about. They think that the players are playing selfish right now for their bag. That doesn't make any sense, though. How are they helping themselves or not? Is Gary being selfish? Who are the guys who would be selfish? I think it would be the three guys that have contract things this summer. Let's go through each one of them. Well, we talked ad nauseum about Fred. And at this point, I'm really thinking I'm going to take Fred at his word. He's not worried about his contract or the money stuff until after the season. That's what he said in his interviews, and I believe him. He said this before when other times when contracts were up and he was in a contract year. He said the same damn thing. Is when it's the season, these guys only care about basketball, playing and winning games. They're not worried about their money. And then, all right, let's think about Jakob. Do we think Jakob cares about the money so much? Let's look at this guy. Do you think this guy's going to nail us this summer because he's having such a good time since he's come to us? Is he going to fucking ream us over the coals and make us pay out the ass to keep him on this team? I don't think he will. I think he'll take what he's deserved, sure. But he wants to work within the framework of allowing to have good teammates around him. That sometimes the really, really ultra selfish players get such a big chunk that they can't flesh out the whole entire roster to have enough good players throughout the whole thing. Well, that's what happens in some of these cases, but none of our guys, I don't think they're like that. In some ways, I think that in some ways they may get together and say, we want to stay together and we want to be more equal with each other. Let's get each of our own slice of the pie that's an equal spot. And nobody's going to be like this huge super max that just eats up a huge chunk of our whole entire salary cap. Now, you tell me, you think Jakob's playing for his contract right now? Well, he's playing very well. In some ways, I think that just happens anyways, the chicken or the egg thing. He wants to play his ass off. Well, in some ways, he's going to get a better contract because he's playing so well. And then we look at Gary. I don't know how you can tell me that Gary's doing anything different than he did already this season. In fact, he's been more consistent. And I can't be upset with him. I'm glad he's made more shots consistently this year. I'm glad he's had less games where he's just disappeared this year. He's stepped up and he's done it in the starting lineup and in the bench. And he's proven his worth. That's what you're supposed to do to get your bag. I just don't get this whole line of thinking where they're selfish and the way they're playing on the court to try and get a better bag. No, that's not what's happening. They're just playing the game. And in some ways, they're not totally linked in together, connecting. That's part of the problem with them not passing more between each other, that they don't have enough reps and synergy is not exactly right. That's more it than the money. Shir Khan saying, I have a feeling that the arena is going to be rocking tonight. Last game before our big road trip, these statement games are versus higher seeds and wins would mean a lot going forward. Win, 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 win. Yes, Shir Khan, I'm with you. I hope so. I really shouldn't go in some ways because I feel like I might be sick and I don't want to be contagious. In some ways, I'm worried I'll go to the game and I'll completely get sick because I'll just yell too much and I'll be completely tired and feel like crap after the game. I'm really got to watch myself this afternoon in some ways. David's saying W. Good to see you, David Saborn, a real one with some fierce to him. And he's like, yeah, he ain't having all this bullshit that we're hearing today. Randolph Phillips is saying, good morning, beloved Raptor freaks and most informative gang. This is a must-win game for us. I hope our boys can continue to play winning basketball. Let's go, Raptors. You go, Randolph Phillips. I love everything you're saying there. Thank you for the blessings this morning and all the best to you, sir. Logical is saying the thing is we need Fred to shoot threes so the defense has to get high on him, creating chances to penetrate the paint and the other team not collapsing hard because they have to stick to shooter and Fred. Yeah, I agree with this. Yeah, that's part of it. We need his outside shooting to open up the floor more and cause better offensive opportunities for the other guys. There's all kinds of things to it. There really is. Cool Cat saying the Space's opinion also want Fred Pascal traded and build around Scottie to see what there's before his contract extension comes up. See, I'm providing you discussion points. All right. Well, they're pissing me off in some way, Cool Cat. I don't care what these Spaces people think, honestly. In some ways, it's like, listen, we talked about this so much. I know how you feel about Pascal, and we know how we feel about Fred. And the whole idea of like getting rid of them to build around Scottie is stupid. Because first of all, these are the guys we want around him to build with Scottie. And this is the thing I've been talking about for a couple days. They don't understand what Scottie's role is or what his future is as an NBA player. They think that he's like a SGA. They think that he's like some sort of player that's just going to be the above and beyond superstar on our team. That's not necessarily the case. In some ways, we need other guys like Fred and Pascal to do the same jobs that they think he should be doing. But they don't understand. Scott is not that kind of guy in some ways. Like I go over this so much. I get so sick of saying the same damn shit over and over again. It's like Scottie is Magic Johnson and Pascal's James Worthy. And people don't get that. They just don't get that. Maybe they need to go watch old Showtime Lakers clips, and then they can understand this better. And maybe like Fred is Byron Scott. These guys can all fit. I don't understand why people think they can't fit. Scottie's the reason why they can all fit. I think that the problem is that they don't understand Scottie's the middle part. Scottie is the middle of the wheel, and they're all the spokes that come off of him. And that in some ways, you can be the central player, the most important player on the team, and you don't score a lot. They don't understand this. Bill Russell was never the leading scorer on the Celtics when he won so many championships in the 60s. He was never, ever the leading scorer. Did people tell the Celtics back then, you need to get rid of John Havlicek and, all these other Celtics around him, Bill Sharman, Tommy Heinsohn. You got to get rid of all those guys because they're holding back Bill Russell from scoring more on the team. No, they didn't fucking tell them that. They didn't tell him that because they did fit. They just don't understand who Scott is. Scott is not a 30-point scorer at Raptors fans, you idiots. You think that he's just going to blossom and become a 30-point scorer, you're dumbasses. That's not who he is. He's a facilitator. He's a Magic Johnson. He's a Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd had Jamal Mashburn and what's his name? Jim Jackson on the team with him. He was facilitating those guys. That's what I'm saying. Y'all don't understand team ball. You're so selfish in your mindsets, you people in Spaces, that you don't fucking understand unselfishness in basketball. And that's what Scott is. And he needs to be unselfish with Pascal and Fred because those are his guys. And he's already got a body of work with them, and they do work really well together. I'm so sick of this argument. I'm so sick of this shit. And I understand you giving me discussion points, but you also, man, I'm just getting really pissed off. Because first of all, Nako starts off with his bullshit, and now I'm hearing all this stupid ass shit being talked about on Twitter Spaces. In some ways, I don't follow that shit on purpose because I don't want to hear it. But I mean, yeah, give me the points, sure. But I am getting angry about it. It's just stupid. There's so much dumb shit out there. Seymour saying, I don't like that ESPN canned Kendrick over his comments, too. JJ saying, you Elvis Presley looking ass. That was weak. And Denver fans with wanted posters of Joel was a low blow, too. But it's basketball. All in all, it's basketball. There's a lot of ugly, stupid shit going on around this league. In fact, this league's kind of going into the toilet. I think Adam Silver fucked this league up. And David Stern would be so pissed to see there's gambling going on, all the disrespect, all the fucking dumbass shit happening, the corrupt refs. You want to know what pisses me off the most in the last day? It's none of what Seymour's saying there. It's none of that. You know what pisses me off the most? What Josh Christopher did to Steven Silas this week. That's what pisses me off the most. That blatant disrespect of your coach on the court like that, right in front of everybody. That shit just doesn't fly in the NBA back in the day. In fact, Josh Christopher may need to be waived and kicked out of the league right away. I just don't get that. That's bullshit. You should not do that, especially to a young man like Steven Silas, who's had a hard year, really coaching the Houston Rockets. He's been in a bad situation with the Rockets for a couple years now, and he's tried to do his best. Well, his father passed this season, and it's a very sad situation. And this little fucking snot-nosed little shithead, Josh Christopher, is going to be like mocking his coach on the way out of the game behind his back. That's rude and fucked up and wrong. And the young players need a kick in the head because you fucking are too arrogant and you're not respecting the game, the coaches, and the other people and the people before you that played it. And you're disrespecting the game. You're making the league look ugly and look like a bunch of immature little assholes. Josh Christopher pisses me off. Yeah, and they need to fucking wave his ass and kick him out of the league. I'm sorry. Nobody should treat their coach like that. He's trying, and once again, he's in mourning. His father died a couple months ago. You little shithead, Josh Christopher. That's what pisses me off. Go watch that clip, and you'll see why I'm pissed. Logical saying Fred VanVleet's transition threes are in part to manipulate the transition defense to have to find Fred in transition, pulling a guy away from the hoop in transition, creating more room for others to attack and timing. Yes. And that's a really useful, good thing. If he's hitting that transition three, that's really a problem for the other team because that is exactly what other teams do to us all the time. They get threes quick because we don't find these guys like Fred on the other side. And in some ways, we need to utilize that tool also. And Fred is our best person for doing this. They're talking about Fred's speed in Raptors Tonight last night. It was really funny. Not funny, but interesting. Alvin's saying, like, look, Fred may not be the quickest guy on the court, but he uses pace and change of pace really well. Like, he has a burst in his foot speed that he can go quick all of a sudden. And that he really uses it really, really well. If you see him attack the rim, all of a sudden he goes really fast and he gets around people. Well, one of the things Alvin was describing is really good point guards like Fred can continue to have the same kind of control over the ball and not lose it and get chaotic when they go fast. And that's really hard to do. Like when you speed up, all of a sudden you're more likely to lose the ball, of course. Well, he's trained himself to hold on the ball, as Alvin put it, keep the ball on the string and not turn the ball over in these situations. That's another thing. See, why are we talking about all the things that we hate about Fred or the things we don't like about him? Let's talk about his skills. Let's talk about his pluses. Let's talk about the things that he can do as a player that we value instead of that kind of shit. And this is one of them. His change of speed and pace with burst and still maintaining the ball without turning it over. He's really good at that. I appreciate him for that. In fact, you know what? We need a bunch of Share the Love clubs this summer because I'm sick of this shit. There's too much bullshit being shared, and we need to share more love and appreciation for our players and the good things about them instead of fucking talking about all the shitty things about them, like people in spaces and idiots in other places. Let's see. Monique saying news and notes. I don't watch Tim and Friends, but apparently Sportsnet took it off the air. Well, apparently he's going to be on Sportsnet Central now, but good, bravo. I'm happy with that. Tim was nothing without Sid, and they were really kind of annoying together. And now that Sid left, now it's just Tim and Friends. Well, now it's nothing. Good. And just put him on the Sports Central show, and that's it. That's good. That's fine with me. Tom Duke is saying, Tim Duke, he's got that crab out there. I wish it was the crab from the docks, though, and that lady. Sushi, and then he's got I guess that's, what was the other thing they needed? Sushi and chili. So that's chili. Okay. Sushi and chili. Sorry the food is late. That's all right, Tom. It's fine. Maybe it's a little cold for Scott Foster, too. Let's see. Tom Duke saying, go Raptors. Cheers, Raptor Freak family. Awesome. David saying, my man, to Tom. Yes, sir. High five between you guys. Mike saying, Fred uses his shot to get the openings to make more passes and make more room for others. It's the definition of gravity. They are some downsides to needing to pull transition threes, like Pirtle said, so it's timing. Yeah, I like all that. Space Cadet saying, in many ways, those idiot fans would prefer Ben Simmons as our point guard. Imagine that actually happened and we traded away Fred. They would be crying within months wanting Fred back. Well, thank God that they aren't in charge. Like Jason Williams is saying, Ben Simmons, yeah, right. No, but they did like a couple years ago. They wanted us to trade Pascal straight up for Ben Simmons. Like these are these people. They just don't understand the NBA. Like listen, I've sussed out Ben Simmons a long time ago and could tell he's a joker. And look at what he's done in the last couple years. Yeah, this guy's just trying to get a check. He doesn't give a shit about playing. In some ways, it'd be nice if he came back and proved something, but honestly, he's not a very good player. And the people that overvalue Ben Simmons, yeah, they're usually people that are idiots, and they're people that really don't know basketball. They just think they know basketball, but they don't. Ben Simmons is, listen, I know Scottie said he likes Ben Simmons last summer, and he said, oh, he's nice, he's good. Well, okay, he may be a good player, but is he a confident player? Is he somebody who shows up? Is he dependable? Is he somebody you can count on in the clutch? Is he somebody that will show up for you in big ways to help you win? That's what Fred is. And that's the opposite of what Ben Simmons is. He's more likely to be sitting in street clubs on your bench than showing up and helping you win games. Yeah, Ben Simmons. Yeah, right. I'm with Jason Williams. Nameless is saying, I don't know if Udoka would do it again, and he probably regrets it, and he probably deserves another chance elsewhere. But what I know for sure is Nick Nurse is not in jeopardy and could even be a lifer. Yeah, I'm serious about this. Like, listen, things with Nick Nurse are really good, guys. I know people think that there aren't, and we've had a tough season, and they want to call for heads. But really, that's not the point of this season. Seriously. In a lot of ways, this has been a struggle season that we've overcome. And people think it's a lot of weird things about this season, but they don't understand just how much we've gone through and we've survived and we've been victorious through it. And by the end of the season, we have a winning record. I'm going to be like, this is a huge, huge accomplishment. We're a winning team after all the bullshit we've been through. Think about that. Think about that. If at the end of the season we have above 500 record or 500 record, in some ways that's a huge accomplishment considering all the cards we've been dealt this season in a very, very difficult way. I don't know if you can't trust Udoka in this. Listen, it may be that he doesn't want to do it ever again, but that doesn't mean that he won't. In some ways, this is like an addiction. In some ways, this is like, I can do this because I can do this. It's a power thing. And even if he says he won't do it, he might do it on the down low, and you don't even know. You can't trust people like this because in some ways it's seedy. And like I said, the most important thing, forget about him and whether he deserves another chance or whether he's reformed or anything. It's the message you're sending to your organization if you bring him in. And maybe toxic organizations like the Suns and the Celtics and other places can get away with having somebody like that around their team. But I don't think we should or try to, because that's not who we are. It's not our identity as a organization. It really isn't our identity to have somebody like him around. Even if he's reformed and he's on his best behavior, it just sends the wrong fucking message. Trust me. To Teresa Retch and every other lady that's in the organization for the Raptors. So I thought it was funny when I saw that sentence. I laughed at it. I was like, "This is hilarious. Who's writing this comedy shit? This is," and it's funny that I think they just picked the two teams that have R for their teams because it was us and the Rockets, Raptors and Rockets interested in Udoka. That's just people grasping for straws. There's just people thinking, oh, the Raptors aren't as good this year as they should be. The Rockets are in the dumpster and they're really bad. Oh, they must need new coaches. Let's just put his name out there. It could actually be that Udoka is himself put that rumor out with his agent to try and feel things out for him to come back. Could it be that? I could Brian Winters this. Doesn't that make sense? That Udoka's agent saying they have not been talking about you all season. They've forgotten about you, but it is going to be the end of the season. And maybe we want to put you back in the conversation. And let's see, what teams would you like to coach? I'd love to coach the Raptors. Oh, you would? Well, let's just make a rumor up. The Raptors are interested in you. And then you get paired with them in conversation. Ooh, that's smart, agent. Do that. Oh, I could coach the Rockets too. Okay, we'll throw them in too also. What if it's that Udoka's agent put that shit out there just to fucking put him back in the conversation to be possibly coming back into the league? Think about it that way. Maybe he sees our situation. He's like, ooh, we're really good. And fuck, I hate the Celtics now for how they treated us. I want to be in a division rival that can kick the Celtics' ass. And I can come coach the Raptors and kick their ass. That may be his thinking right there. That Udoka started the damn rumor himself. Brian Winders. Doesn't that make sense? That makes a lot of fucking sense to me. People aren't talking about him, and they want him to. He wants to get talked about, and he puts out a bullshit rumor about himself. There you go. Smooth saying, I'm a fan of the team, not the name on the back of the jersey. Some of Raptors Nation are fans of the names on the back of the jersey and not the team. Ooh, just killed it right there. Listen, I got this beautiful jersey that I'm gonna wear to the game tonight, and on the front of it, it says Raptors. On the back of it, it says Barnes. I love Scottie. Scottie's an amazing guy. I love watching him on Twitch last summer, and he's just such a good young man. He's going to be a great young basketball player more and more as he grows as a player. But once again, just like Smooth said, this is the part of the jersey that I root for. This part right here that says Raptors. And that's the thing. Y'all can be fans of each individual Raptor and have your favorite Raptors and stuff. But when you start superseding your allegiance to that player over the team, you separate yourself from being actually a Raptors fan in some ways. That's the damn truth. Like, there's some people that are still Vince fans over Raptor fans. There's still some people that are Kawhi fans over Raptor fans. There's some people that are Chris Bosh fans over Raptor fans. Not many, but I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. And Smooth is exactly right. Some of these people are Barnes fans, and it's overwhelming their Raptors fandom in general. That they just want so much for Scottie so fast and so quick, and they know what's best for him. You fucking don't know what's best for him, you dumbass idiot Barnes fans. What's best for him is known by Nick Nurse and the Raptors organization, Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, Fred VanVleet, Thad Young, Pascal Siakam, Chris Boucher, OG Anunoby. Those guys know what's best for Scottie. Trust me. And he is getting it. Trust me, he's getting it good, and he's playing great. Part of the problem is he's an average player all around. He's good at everything, but he's not jumping super hard on one thing overwhelmingly. It's like he's very good at everything: steals, blocks, rebounds, assists, three-pointers, everything. So you get a sampler pattern of everything from Scottie in little bursts and little places everywhere. Well, what do you want from him? What do you want from him more? What do you want? You want to take all these things away from other guys to give to Scottie? Well, what if he doesn't fucking want all that you're dumping in front of him? I want to take this from Pascal and give this to you, Scottie. As a fan, I love you so much, and Pascal's so mean to take so much from you. So I'm going to take it from Pascal and give it back to you, Scottie, because I love you so much. Well, Scottie's going to look at this. Well, what the fuck? Why'd you give this to me? That's Pascal's shot. I'm supposed to pass it to him, you dumbass fans. See, I feel like that's part of it in there, is that they don't understand what makes him tick. Go spend 200 hours with him on Twitch last summer, and you'll realize what makes him tick. Cool Cat knows better than you. Tom Duke knows better than you. Isaac Campbell knows better than you. Fiercely Saul Sarah knows better than you. Because we sat in that room with him and listened to him, unfiltered, him speaking what he says. He loves passing. In fact, there would be games where he played 2K23 and he didn't want to shoot at all. He passed it to his teammates over and over again and never shot it himself. He loves that aspect of unselfish basketball, except his fans are selfish for him, and they don't even realize that who he is as a person is unselfish. See, that's the disconnect. They don't know the real Scottie. They don't know what he has built his game around. They're stupid. They just want him to be another Kawhi Leonard or another, Jason Tatum. They're like, you got to be Jason Tatum. You could be this guy instead of what you're doing right now. Well, that's not who he is. He's Scottie Barnes. And Scottie Barnes is a 6'9" point guard. Do you know what a point guard does? He passes. So there you go. Oh, my gosh. It's crazy out there. Oh, my gosh. All right, Jason's saying, what am I hearing in here? I thought this was a Raps Heat preview. Why you guys in your feelings, man? I hear you, Jason. Well, we did the preview earlier with the injuries and the ref report. Scott Foster is going to be our crew chief tonight. I'm a little amped up because of that. And I'm also amped up about all the stupid noise in Raps Nation right now. I apologize, Jason. We can get back on focus. It's just I hear out of pocket, stupid ass like opinions and things like that, talking about Udoka's rumored to go to the Raptors. I'm like, what the fuck is this? People coming for Fred's head, and we're still on a 2-game winning streak right now. Yeah, there's a lot of idiocy around Raptors Nation. And in some ways, I'm like, I've had enough of it. I've been not feeling well for 3 days, and I'm just sick of all the fucking noise that at this point in the season, we still have jackasses all over social media saying stupid ass shit. Oh my gosh. Space Cadet saying, I'm serious. Those fans hating on Fred wish they had Ben Simmons, someone who just defers every single time. Careful what you wish for. Yeah. No, you don't want that. In fact, listen, if we did give up Fred, which I don't think we will, and I think we will retain him this summer and he will be on our team next year, if we did get rid of him at some point, I think that everybody would very much feel the void left after he left, way more than you think. And once again, I said this before, if Fred leaves, that's not just losing Fred. We're losing Kyle for good too, because in some ways, Fred is Kyle right now. And that you guys don't understand. We didn't feel the void of losing Kyle so bad because Fred was still here to keep it up and stay in his spot and do the things that Kyle did. Well, we lose Fred. Malachi ain't stepping up and being Fred and Kyle before him. He's not ready. And that's what I'm saying. Y'all would see the loss and feel the void and feel it way stronger than you think you would. And you would be like, holy shit, we're an idiot. We're so dumb for wanting to run him out of here because now he's actually gone and boom, we can feel what he did now because he's gone all of a sudden. I don't think that the people understand that. They really don't. Mike's saying we brought Nick to start building a read and react offense with shooting. That was in 2013. So yeah, the best part of those Raptors, the offense was Nick. There's the beef between Casey and Nick. There is and there isn't. I think there is still kind of a little bit of, and they may not get along too totally together. Once again, I must say this over and over again. When it comes to Nick Nurse, people have to realize that Masai Ujiri had been grooming him as his favorite head coach in basketball for a decade. That listen, Masai found this dude out coaching in England or wherever, G League, and he said, this dude is really smart, and this dude is the future, and this is my guy. I'm anointing him my head coach, but I can't have him in yet. So he brings him in as an assistant underneath Dwayne Casey. But all along, Nick was going to take the job from Dwayne when he left, but he didn't tell anybody. He didn't let anybody know. And that's why it was so weird when we fired Casey and then all of a sudden we brought Nick Nurse in as the head coach. Well, that's what Masai wanted all along. And he would have fired Dwayne Casey in like 2014 or 2015 if he hadn't been successful. But Casey continued to be successful over and over and over and over again. And he actually gave Casey a really long period as the coach of the Raptors. Past him coming in and taking over because Casey was not hired by Ujiri. He was hired by Colangelo. He was a Colangelo coach. And he kept him around a long time and waited to give the reins to Nick Nurse. And then he did it finally. So what do you fucking think? He's only going to let Nick coach for a little while. He gave Casey all that time to have mistakes, not get far in the playoffs. He gave him all that rope, and he wasn't even his pick. How do you fucking think he's going to treat Nick, somebody he's coveted to have as his head coach of his organization for a long, long, long time? You think he's going to discard him randomly or quickly? No. Because this was all planned and ordained for a long time, and he's wanted him to be his head coach of his team forever. And he's got it, and he's happy with him. Trust me, he's very happy with him. Jimmy's saying, I want to see a serious demeanor from the guys tonight and get back at Scott Foster. The arena better be loud as fuck tonight. Give our guys a boost. Let's go Raptors. Woo! Yes, Jimmy, I'm with you on this. Seriously, I don't know. The guys may get up because it's Kyle and the Heat. Because, some of the guys have a personal relationship with Kyle and they want to beat him. I know Fred's already said that in the last couple of days. Well, now they get up this morning, they see who the crew chief is tonight. Maybe they have even more get up and go because they have something to prove against him too, Scott Foster. When we saw Ben Taylor again after the situation with Ben and Fred, we did win that game, right? We did win that game. So maybe there's a little bit of a good faith tour coming from the referee side because of how they've wronged us also. That in some ways, maybe Scott Foster has to come here to Toronto to prove that he isn't biased against us, that in some ways, maybe he's going to overdo it the other way just to make it seem like he's a very fair ref. Yeah, very interesting to see how he refs the game tonight, for sure. Mike's saying the Leafs made that mistake, letting that greedy vibe grow. They signed Nylander to high. Then that pushed Matthews' contract number up and Mitch Marner's too. And now the Leafs have money roster issues. Yeah, anything that the Leafs fan nation thinks that they should do, if they're coming in our nation and saying the same kind of shit, like they have the same kind of ideas about roster construction and who needs to come and go, yeah, just stop, please. Leaf Nation, we don't need your help. If you're a Leaf fan and you're trying to apply things that you've done with the Maple Leafs to the Raptors, nah, please just hold your breath. It's a totally different sport, totally different league. All kinds of things are different. And whatever you apply to hockey, stop trying to apply it to basketball because it just doesn't translate or work. Just trust me on that. Will's here. Wayne's here. Good to see Wayne Strainer. What's the latest on Will Barton? Well, the latest on him is he is doubtful for today's game against the Heat. It is his ankle, of course. Doubtful is better than questionable, I guess. Or no, I don't know. Which one's better, questionable or doubtful? I don't know. Doubtful is probably worse. So I don't think he's going to play tonight, Wayne. Monique is saying, Lex, the Jeff Doughton interview with Ahmet Mann is now out. All right, check it out. Interesting interview. Ahmet has said that he's been a Jeff stan since the beginning, and that if you put a picture of Jeff's Wikipedia page, you'd have a picture of him as his number one fan for getting him up. Listen, man, this isn't a contest, Ahmet. I anointed Jeff as one of the best players coming in last summer league also. As soon as I saw that young man play, I said, this guy's consistent. He's a bucket, and he's somebody who's going to be around our team. In fact, I was like saying already, is like, y'all need to get him on that two-way right away. And they did. And so, yeah, there's a lot of us that sussed him out right away, just like him, just like you did, Ahmet. I was there too on the ground floor with you on Jeff Doughton. Wayne's saying a lot of people are not just new to basketball, but to sports in general. I can tell by their perspective that they never ever played ball or any sports. Championships are built by individuals working together. Yes, I'm with you on this, Wayne. That's true. I don't know. It's weird. In today's day and age, everybody wants to be a pundit and have an opinion and stuff. I know I'm guilty of that. But in some ways, it's like, where's your background? How long have you been around the game? How long have you been put in hours watching games? Do you actually watch the games, or do you hang out and socialize with your friends? Or are you paying attention to the games? Have you watched games like since the beginning the Raptors been around? Do you understand the different levels of where your franchise can be? Do you understand how player movement works in this league? Do you understand how much work and practice it takes to become a good player and to be able to even be in the NBA? I don't think that they have realistic ideas about any of this kind of stuff, and that some of their opinions are really just like just shit coming out of their head. Fun guy saying section 307. What? Buddy's going to be there and is actually looking forward to seeing you if he wants the debate. There's your opinion, Lex. You serious? This guy's going to be there? Adriana, where's our seats?
320.
We're in 320. If he's actually there, I don't know if I want to go meet up with him. Like I said, I'm sick. I don't even know if I'm going to go to the game. And the other thing is, if I go there, I want to just go and get out. Like if people are at the game like Monique is tonight, I'm not going to try and visit anyone because I'm not feeling well. I think I'm going to put the mask on. I'm going to sit in my seat, watch the game. I might not even be loud because I just got to save my voice and just leave right afterwards. But if that dude is there and I see him, maybe I'll cuss him to his face. If I just walk by him in the concourse or something, he's like, fuck you, Pensair motherfucker, you piece of shit. You're fucking bullshit about Fred. You need to fuck off right now. I'll say that shit to him right to his face in person. Yeah, I will. If I see him, I will say something to him. But that's only if I see him. Shere Khan saying, folks, look at Boston, Milwaukee, Philadelphia loading up on good players and getting better. No one is saying that they should break it up and give Tatum, Giannis, and Embiid more shots. Makes no sense. Don't trade, add more talent. That's what I'm saying, Shere Khan. It's very much a focused way that U.S. people try and break up our team up here. It's the same thing they did in the early 2000s with Vince and Tracy. They tried to say that there's not enough shots for Tracy, but that was bullshit. He could have grown next to Vince and they could have probably won championships. And they realized that in hindsight. And that's why they do this. They know that we've got good players together, and that's why they try and break up the band. Well, one of the biggest links to our championship is Fred, and that's why they want him off our team. You notice they focus on Fred and Pascal the most because those are the most crucial players from our championship run that are still on our team. It was this summer after they were really pushing to get Kawhi out. Well, Kawhi was already kind of leaving anyway. They want to get rid of Kyle. They wanted us to get rid of Mark and Serge. They tried to take apart our championship team little by little over time. And Fred and Pascal are the last two pieces. And that's why they come for them. It's so fucked up. And this world is so fucked with this AI and chat GTPT and all the fucking new things coming. There's going to be more and more bullshit out there. And some of it won't even be human generated. Somebody will just be able to make a program and they can just start making their own perception a reality by putting people on blast with bots saying the same shit over and over again everywhere. And everybody will think, oh, this is what everybody thinks. Where's a fucking machine making it all? And y'all don't even realize that technology is out there right now. And if you guys don't realize that there's manufactured bullshit being made by programs set up ahead of time by people with money that want to change public opinion on certain things, especially in politics, then why wouldn't they do it with sports if they wanted to and they had the means? They will, and they are already. Seymour saying, I got to see what Josh Christopher did. Yeah, some people may not think it's that funny or that bad or anything like that, but to me, it is so bad. It's just right in the middle of the game like that. I don't care what your gripe is with your coach. When you disrespect your coach like that, I'm going to be very curious to see if the Rockets suspend him or do some sort of punishment to him because they should. And in some ways, it's really bad because the assistant coaches were reinforcing it behind Steven Silas's back. And once again, I know this guy's in mourning. I mean, he just lost his father. And this is not cool to me in some ways. You're supposed to be family and on a team, and this is how you treat your coach. Yeah, fuck you, Josh Christopher. You're not a good dude, man. Let's see. Logical Raptors Fanatics funny. He's laughing. And Scottie is our glue guy, according to Cool Cat. I agree with this. He really is. He's a glue guy. And people got to realize that. He can do everything on the court. And that's what I'm saying is like we can serve the order with him. It's like if he's a cook in the kitchen, it's like, Scottie, we need hamburgers. All right, hamburgers, making hamburgers. Scottie, we need more fries. All right, I'm going to make fries. It's whatever we need that night. He will make it happen for us, whether it's a lot of rebounds, whether it's getting in the passing lanes at steals, whether it's low post turnarounds, shooting over people, whether it's three-pointers, whether it's just really nice transition passes in getting easy dunks for OG and Pascal or getting dunks himself. He makes it special to order. And that's why we love him. Mike saying, Masai fired Casey, and the best point for Casey, a coach of the year will get a job fast. So Masai did Casey fine. Casey had issues running the full read and react and not adjusting. Yeah, well, Casey had a problem in the playoffs. He did not adjust quick enough, and that's one of Nick Nurse's strengths. And we saw it immediately the next year when we won a championship. And that's the difference right there. Nothing that Masai did was wrong. And that's why I trust in him. And that was really smart. Everything, Casey's fine. Casey's still in Detroit still at this point. And there's nothing wrong with what happened there. But that's what I try to tell people. It's like Casey was never Masai's dude. Well, Nick is his dude. So you're going to see him treat Nick better than he treated Dwayne, just so you know. Race Mode saying, I'll be in Miami bar tonight wearing a Raptors Kyle Lowry jersey. Let's go. Yes, you go, Edmund. Represent down there, the Groat in the Raptors jersey in Miami tonight. I love it, Race Mode. Just stay out of trouble. I'm sure you'll be fine. Check your own crew saying, pull his shirt up over your face and give him a couple punches. Check your own crew. That's a hockey thing. Yeah. I don't know. Let's get Scott Foster like this. Can somebody run out there on the court and pull his shirt up over his head and just start pummeling him like a hockey fight? All right, check your own crew. I like that. That's interesting. Jimmy saying, I just want this team to succeed with the current roster. I know we're a much better team than a 9 seed. Really hope we keep it together to see what full season with Jakob is like. Yes. Honestly, if Jakob walks and goes to another team this summer, I'm going to be absolutely shocked. I will be absolutely shocked. I don't see that happening. And I think we got the money to make it. And both sides are saying it's going to happen. Mike saying that was The laughing was to your skit of taking from Spicy to give to Scottie. Laughing my fucking ass. Oh yeah, when I was saying that, yeah, that's funny. Oh, he took it away from you. You want to give it back? Oh yeah, that was funny. Seymour saying Eric Montross diagnosed with cancer. You are in our prayers. Get well, big man. I'm glad you brought this up, Seymour. I keep forgetting to talk about this. Eric Montross, former Raptor, who played around when Vince was on our team from North Carolina. They were teammates in North Carolina and at the Raptors. He has been diagnosed with cancer this week. I'm sorry to hear. And I hope that he just has really good recovery and treatment, and hopefully he becomes cancer free soon. And that would be great. All my heartfelt sentiments and just wishing good things for him and his family in this tough time. A Raptor, a great Raptor, well, not a great Raptor, but a Raptor from before, somebody in our Raptor family, Eric Montross. We hope that you beat cancer, man. And really unhappy to hear about this week. Infamous is saying, salute logical Raptors fanatic. I told you about Doughton. Everybody knew about Doughton. Nobody was doubting Doughton. They knew Doughton was going to be good. Monique saying, W stream Lex, let's go Raptors. Always now is the time to hit Miami first. Let's get climbing the ladder. No ifs or ands or buts. Switch my ticket for the final game versus Bucks. I might go. Okay, so you were saying you were done for the season, but you're going to go to the last game against Milwaukee. That's right, tonight, and then we go on the road, and then we don't come back until the very last game of the season, the Milwaukee Bucks. So yeah, I better go to the game tonight because I'm not going to be able to go to Raptor games for the rest of till next season or the playoffs. Maybe I can go in the playoffs. Hopefully, I can go in the playoffs. We'll see. All right, let's do the real mascot matchup since we're at the end of the chat. The last time we saw the Raptor, he was in a predicament with the police. Officer Malloy, Officer Foster, and Officer Brothers. Officer Malloy was thrown off the yak, and the yak peed on the police car. And Will the Wizard felt bad, and he was like, I feel bad because the yak has really caused all the problems. Raptor, try and get away. You can run, get away. I'll cause a distraction, and hopefully you can get away from them, and they won't catch you too. Well, Will the Wizard fell down on the ground and acted like his ankle hurt. He kind of did hurt it for real. And they're like, oh no. And then the Raptor just takes off running. And the cops, Officer Foster starts shooting at him, like literally shooting bullets at him. But I think he finally, he runs and he gets away. But they're chasing him. They're literally like, all right, let's do this. Officer Brothers, you stay and arrest these guys. Officer Malloy and I will get in the cop car and we'll take off after this guy running away from us, trying to get away. So now they're after him. The heat is on. The heat is after him, after the Raptor, and he's running. And Will the Wizard tried to make a distraction and the yak with him, but it's not working. And these guys are in the car, and he's running into the woods. The Raptors run off into the woods, and they're going to try and chase him. Will the Raptor get away from Officer Foster and Officer Malloy as they chase him to arrest him, or will they catch him and take him to jail? We'll have to find out next time on the Real Mascot Matchup. The heat is on. The Raptor, he is a fugitive. That is what has happened at this point. He has run from the law. Well, let's see if he can get some revenge on Mr. Officer Foster tonight. That would be real good. Check Your Own Crew saying, I remember in my church league, Father McSmith had a huge ego. I checked him first play with an elbow to his stomach. I had to let him know I'm not here for the funny business. Check Your Own Crew. I don't know. You're new in this chat. We're here every morning at 9:30 a.m. And I hope you come back again and check Your Own Crew, because it may be non sequitur what you're doing here, but I think it is a positive addition to the chat, and I appreciate you here. Poor Father Mick Smith. I played church league basketball also, but I didn't go to church. That was a weird one, eh? But it was fun. I just played in the league with my friends. Some of them went to the church, and they just needed more players, so I went down there and played. It was fun when I played church league basketball. I played for Emmanuel Baptist Church in Tallahassee on Mahon Road. And yeah, we didn't have a Father Mick Smith. We had one of our friends was the coach too. He was just a little bit older than us. And he was funny. He taught me how to foul people. Like I really needed to learn how to do that. But yeah, it was fun. That's an interesting story. Check Your Own Crew. I'll bet it's a true story. Check Your Own Crew. Yeah, Jimmy's saying, have a great day, y'all. Go Raps. Yes, Jimmy. I love the Pope of positivity. Always bringing the positivity. Mike saying, infamous, no doubt. As long as you remember, I told people about Coloco. Both were solid, no doubt. He's talking on our summer opinions. W stream Lex. Yeah. Well, last year we had a lot of opinions. And Wayne saying Precious loves playing against the Heat for obvious reasons. Wish he locks in and don't overthink it. Got to get to 500. Ooh, I like this comment. And this is something I forgot about. That Precious has had huge games against the Miami Heat since he's been traded to our team, and that maybe tonight is the night for Nick to give extra rotation minutes to Precious because he really gets up against his former team for not really giving him a good solid chance in his rookie year. Yeah, I forgot about this, Wayne. This is definitely something we may want to see on the court tonight. Precious exploding and having a really, really sensational game tonight. I like that. Shere Khan saying W stream, W tonight, going to be fun. Yeah, Shere Khan. I hope it is. And I hope I feel better and better as the day goes on so I can go there with some good strength to my voice. All right, real quick recap. The injuries for tonight with the Raptors are Will Barton is doubtful with his ankle. Gary Trent is questionable with his elbow. Delano Banton is out with his thumb. Ron Harper Jr. is day-to-day. Joe Weezy is not playing tonight because of his hamstring. And, of course, Otto Porter Jr. is out. The Miami Heat are listing Nikola Jovic. He is out because of his back. He did not travel with the team, so he is not here in Canada. And then Kyle Lowry is actually on the injury list for the Miami Heat. He is day-to-day. There may be a chance he doesn't play tonight. Our referees tonight, of course, that awful villain Scott Foster is the crew chief tonight in Toronto. The audacity of this man to show his face on the north side of the border after what he did to us in Denver. Well, as a crowd tonight, we need to let him know how we feel about him when he shows up tonight. Brian Forte is our second ref, and Eric Dalen is the third ref. Not the best crew. I'm not going to lie. In some ways, this crew is not good for us. And Scott Foster really does signal that. I don't trust him. And in some ways, they may want Miami to beat us in this situation. I hope that that's not the case and there's no funny stuff. If there is, we need to let those refs know from the crowd. Like I said, do some of this if you're down on the 100 level towards Scott Foster. Call him a cheat. Call him a gambling cheat. Bring up Tim Donaghy's name to him. Tell him you got to call Donaghy. You got to call Donaghy. You know, how are you going to screw us over this time, Scott Foster? Are you going to try and screw us over, or are you coming in good faith to show that you can screw the other team over and make a right or wrong, even though it's two wrongs don't make a right? Well, in some ways, you go ahead and make another wrong, but it better not be against us, is what I'm saying tonight. Yeah. Nameless saying Doubtin', the documentary miniseries. That's hilarious. All right. Thanks for joining me today. Sorry I'm feisty. I'm still not feeling well, and I'm angry. I'm really sick of Raptors Nation being so opinionated with stupid ass fucking opinions. Listen, we've got good players on our team. We love our players. We want to keep them here. Anybody wants addition by subtraction, you're fucking stupid. We got the right collective. These guys do actually really like playing together. I don't know why people don't think that. You know, you got to understand that this team is working it all out. And we're really close to turning the corner and having really good things happen. That's why they intensify the bickering and the dumbass comments and the opinions to try and tear us apart more. They're hoping that y'all will go after Fred. They're hoping that y'all will go after Nick. They're hoping you all go after Pascal Siakam. And that's the problem, is them. And you just need to tune them out. If you're getting these kind of vibes from places where you do go look at Raptors content, just really suss it out. What is their purpose and what they're trying to do? And maybe not go back there if you feel like it's not the most healthy place. Let's see. Mike saying, my summer take of Koloko was better, faster, Boucher, taller, longer, and has a real 3-point shooting stroke. Yeah, we're starting to see it now on the NBA level. No. You're not seeing Koloko with the 3-point shot yet. Boucher's a much better 3-point shooter. Yeah, Mike, all right, it's a little early on that. Fiercey's definitely tuning them out. I appreciate that. And it's just smart. Like, honestly, the more we give attention to them, the more they are emboldened or want more and more and more and more. And that's what I'm saying. Let's cut off their thirst. Let's cut off their supply and just let them just shrivel up and die away somewhere else. All right, y'all. Have a great day. I hope I can get to that game and get loud and really let Scott Foster hear it from me. Blackhawk saying Scottie versus Scottie tonight. Yeah, Scott Foster versus Scottie Barnes tonight. Racemos saying, shut off the haters. Get well, Lex. Let's go. Thank you, Edmund. And be safe down there in enemy territory with your Raptors gear on. I know you'll be fine. You're a tough dude, and you'll be fine. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and have a great day. And let's get this victory tonight, Raptors. Don't mess around. We need to jump out there. And in some ways, because we're playing an experienced team with a lot of good playoff experience with their older players, they're a vet team. In some ways, we have to play very smart and very vet ourselves. That mature, intelligent, taking care of the basketball kind of basketball is the kind of way you have to play against the Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra. And that if you're playing sloppy, you're playing a little casual, that's not always smart. We got to play at a top level, a very, very high level, as best as we can. Take care of every possession, very much value the ball. If we can win the turnover battle against them and have less and get more transition off of their turnovers, that would be fantastic. We can out rebound them and just out muscle them and out physical them overall. That would be fantastic. These are great keys to a good Raptors win tonight. I love it. Let's see. Murgabi Lennon. There's a guy on YouTube named Robert. He rips Pascal and Fred every chance he gets. Yes, we know about this guy. He's my nemesis. If I am Superman, he's Lex Luthor. And we hate him on this channel, Lennon. And thank you for coming in for your comment. And we'll be here tomorrow for a reaction to the Miami game. I'm going to the game tonight. I'll be getting loud, and hopefully we'll have a good victory. But yeah, hope you come and join us again. And we do know about this man. And yeah, he's not somebody we enjoy or like on this channel, because we feel like he's just adding unnecessary noise to Raptors Nation with stupid takes that just don't make no goddamn sense if you really think about them. Nameless is saying, check your own crew needs a dunk for giving it to Father Pat. I don't know. In some ways, he's new. We'll see if he sticks around and comes back through with some more later. Maybe we'll get him on the dunk board then. Shir Khan saying, folks, drop a like for the algorithm before you go. Thank you, Shir Khan. I appreciate that. And Duke Rocks, leader of our fantasy league right now. Good morning, folks. Basically, the title of this video says it all. We need this game versus Miami. Hopefully the refs are fair tonight. Well, we got Scott Foster tonight, Duke Rocks. So let's see. As much as Scott Foster cannot be crooked and not be fucked up, well, let's see if he can or not. We'll have to find out tonight. All right. Thanks for joining me. And let's go.